George Jones.
Testing, testing, testing. Is it on? Is it on? Hey, 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 welcome to another edition of Finally Free with me, Dolores Jones, your comeback coach, baby. You know what I like to do? I like to help women move beyond labels, limitations, and low self esteem so we are free to be powerful, successful, and unstoppable. You do know that you are unstoppable. You do know that you are a fly media queen. All right, all right, all right. I didn't eat Wheaties today. I'm just high on Jesus. Hallelujah. And I got up this morning and got in that sauna, honey, and I did some walking, okay? But check this out. Today, the topic is show me the money. Yes, honey.
All right.
Show me the money. Jerry McGuire, show me. I'm going straight Cuba Gooding Jr. on you.
That's when you should start playing.
Can you pull that up, Mr. Walker? Oh, can you pull up the song Money, Money, Money? Can you pull up Jerry McGuire?
No.
Show me the money. Say it, Shanitria. Show
Me.
the money. Okay, we're going to work on that. Okay, so my special guest in the studio is Miss Sinitria Hampton Monk. Now listen, she is the CEO of ASAP Tax Professionals KC and the owner of ASAP Real Estate Services. Did I get all that right? And she's a mama, and she's a woman on fire.
Absolutely.
Now, welcome back to the show, my girl.
Thank you.
You're my friend. I know smart people. But did y'all know this? Let me drop this statistic on you. According to the Economic Policy Institute, are y'all ready for this? Black women have to work 7 months into 2017 to be paid the same as white men in 2016. I know that's a shame. So check this out. July 31st is actually Black Women's Equal Pay Day. So it's coming up.
Yes.
Okay, I'm already in August. It's July 31st is Black Women's Equal Pay Day. Now that's the day that marks how long into 2018 an African American woman would have to work in order to be paid the same wages as her white male counterpart was paid last year. So it takes us 7 months. Black women are uniquely positioned to be subjected to both a racial pay gap and a gender pay gap. In fact, on average, Black women workers are paid only, are you ready? 67 cents. I thought it was higher. 67 cents on the dollar relative to white non-Hispanic men, even after controlling for education, years of experience, and location.
That's crazy.
That is ridiculous. But that's why we're here, because I want my girl, Sinitria Hampton Monk, to show us how she, she defied this label. Categorize me, I defy every label. So let me kind of give you a little background on why Miss Sinitria Hampton Monk is back on Finally Free. Now, Sinitria, the last time you came on the show, we started with the fact that during college, you are college educated, which is fantastic, and we'll talk about that too. But you had 22 credit cards while you were in college, and you were in debt.
Yeah.
So pick it up from there and share with them where you have come from so that we know how you can and why you can show us how to get this money.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
I enjoy being here. Where I've come from, from having the 22 credit cards, filing bankruptcy, I had to come to the realization that, I wanted change. I did not want to continue to, struggling to keep my head above water. And I wanted to live by what the Bible said, that I wanted to be a lender and not a borrower. Um, I wanted to be financially secure. And I'm not going to say that I don't have debt, but I have debt that is, I have good debt. I have my mortgage, we own all of our cars, but I create, the debt that I create has been able to go, for my business, to be able to give me leverage for my business and to set myself up to really be, able to put services in place, put training in place, open schools, and different things like that. I want to be able to educate others on how to make it. Your income is fixed, as we see.
Yeah.
And I left government, working for the government. I was working with it for 8 years. And being in that, I realized that my income was where they wanted it to be. It got clear to me when I applied for a job here and I thought I was doing something, and they were paying like $35 an hour.
I say it ain't so.
Yes. And then I asked my cousin, I was like, well, why didn't they hire me? And he was like, well, let me check on that. I'll double check to find out. And she said she looked at my resume and said she won't be there anymore. She's overqualified.
Overqualified for $35 an hour. And what type of job were you applying for? Just with the government?
No, it was actually with a local utility company, and I had, I had gone and I was like overqualified, and that's when it hit me. It was the light bulb came on. It was like, I will never work for somebody else in my entire life.
What was on your resume? I'm just curious to know what stood out.
I was the vice president of field office operations. I was handling EEO cases like on the federal level. I would represent people when they had been discriminated against. And, I did well. I was very passionate about being a voice for people who were not a voice for themselves. So I've always desired to help. I've always desired to just kind of work with people and encourage them. Like I tell people, borrow my belief until you can believe in yourself.
Borrow somebody else's belief until you can believe in yourself. Borrow yours. I've been borrowing it for the last few months.
Sometimes when you're in the mud, you can't see.
No.
But when you have somebody who's trying to help you pull you out, they're the ones that can see what's around you. They're the ones that can see the potential. All you got to do is reach out to me and believe that I can help you. Let me pull you out, let's clean you off, and then you can be a part of the same that I'm doing.
Yeah.
So that's what, that in a nutshell, that's what it was. So I created my own business, and I came out of that thing and I took on.
How many businesses do you have to date?
7.
Ooh, that's a lot.
Because I've always heard that the average meal and I don't wait just on one check to come from place. I have checks.
So when you say 7, can you name at least 5?
ASAP. Real estate business. I have ASAP travel and vacation. I have LMT truck. And then I said, I also have 6 months of
That was 8.
The LMT truck.
But you still own it.
Yeah.
Okay. How did you go from working for the government and them controlling your paycheck to 8 businesses? And how long of a period of time did it even take you to do that?
I've had, my property management and my real estate, I've been involved in real estate for 15 years. So that's really where it started. I've been doing taxes since I was 14, but I never put a dollar on it. 14. Because I've always worked.
Okay.
And she was like a grandmother to me. What used to be a red folk, God rest her soul. She sat us around the table and taught us how to do it.
At 14?
At 14, she said, if you're making money, you need to know how to handle your business. So she sat us around and we sat at her dining room table. It was like almost like I could see it, and I tried to do this right. I kind of knew a lot of me. I just never knew that her teaching me those nuggets would be
at 14 years old. So you were like coming out of middle school. So you're not too young, everybody. You're not too young to start now building your business. When I read last night that Black women have to work 7 months into the previous year, the new year, in order to earn what a white man earned the year before. So we're into 2018.
Right.
So are we even into 7 months? No, August is 7 months in. No, we're 7 months now. So by this time, by the end of 31st, which is Black Women's Equal Pay Day, the day that marks how long it takes a Black woman, an African American woman, to work in order to find the same wage that a white male counterpart worked in 2017.
Right.
And so we're only making 67 cents on the dollar. And I used to say, what was it, 80 cents on the dollar? I was like 28 cents short. So what was your motivation? What was your aha moment when you said, I'm out of here?
Well, like the situation was not ideal, but I had a client, and I had been working with this client when I was doing real estate for a long time, and he had called me like a year and a half prior, and he said, well, I'm going to buy a home, but I'm not ready yet. And so he said, but when I call you, I'm going to be ready. So I said, okay. He called, and we went and looked at houses. I mean, we were looking at like 5, 6 houses, sometimes up to 10 on Saturdays, maybe Sundays. And I like to be very hands-on with my clients. And when it happened, when I started doing, I was doing taxes. My friend Elena Banks, she gave me my first job when I moved to Atlanta. She's a broker. She's awesome, and hopefully we can bring her here to Kansas City. But she was on selling it in the ATL. She was one of the cast members on selling it in the ATL.
Okay.
And she's my broker in Georgia. So,
Okay.
She had a guest on by the name of Shirley McDonald, and she had her on, and she was like, okay, I'm going to show you how to make X amount of dollars in this time. And so that's how I hooked up with ASAP and started doing it. I needed seed money. And, how sometimes people say, it's like, he may not come when you want, but he's right on time.
Right.
And so you're thinking, like, okay, I got this money coming and I got this client. Well, he called me out of blue, and the commission on that sale was over $11,000. So it was money for me to pay for my office for up to February. I paid for my office up to February. I was able to get my phones and stuff in place. I was able to go buy equipment. I was, like computers and things like that, and get things to kind of prepare myself and pay my fees and things so I could become a viable business. So that happened. At least my first phase in September of 2016. I leaped out on faith. For years, I had driven by the same building in the same neighborhood.
Is that where you are today?
That's right.
Okay.
And every time I would drive by, and the sign would go up and then it would go down. The sign would go up and then it would go down because somebody had rented it. But this particular time, when it was my time, the sign stayed up until I realized it was time for me to move. So once I went in, it was no struggle. It was like I was ready. I had made that sale. I did that. My business became incorporated on October the 17th of 2017 or 2016, which is my grandfather's birthday. And I've been rolling ever since. I've been rolling ever since. So, that was the moment where I knew it could happen. I saw potential in having the skills and then meshing everything that I have been through in life all together. So that's why I tell people I can help. There's not a thing that I cannot help. The only thing I don't sell is truth. And it's like if you have a question about me, I said come see me first, and I can probably find somebody that can help you.
That's wonderful that you're resourceful. You all are listening to Finally Free with me, Dolores Jones, your comeback coach. I'm streaming live exclusively on the Fly Moving Queen Network. So hello to all of my queens and kings who always join us faithfully. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure that you share. this particular video and come back for more all of the time. Also, I got to show mad love for Mr. Lewis Walker, who is the owner of KUAW. And last year, they found me or came to me and said, hey, we're going to the next level of the radio station. Would you like to come and do a show? And Mr. Walker, do you know as of today, it's a year since I've been with you?
No.
So thank you so very, very much. You talk about opportunities and platforms. So hello to our KUAW listeners at Power 98.5 FM and on the web that you're listening. We thank you for that. And I thank you all for the opportunity again. So Sinitria Hampton Monk is my special guest today. We're talking about Show Me the Money.
Absolutely. I'm trying to show you.
Okay, so Sinitria, of course, we're going to take questions from the Fly Nubian Queen Network, as well as you have a question and you want to call me. You can call me at 816-599-6893. 816-599-6893. Now, on one of your posts, you said you can show somebody how to make a certain amount of money in how long. And tell us more about that.
Well, it is through tax preparation.
Okay.
And a lot of times, people they question how much they pay a tax preparer.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I view it as the cost of a building, and you get what you pay for. Because a lot of times, what I'm running into when I was a lot of clients who have gone to their friends that paid them $100 or maybe $150, $200, and then they end up getting them into issues that the person that paid their taxes has no liability. So when you don't have the liability, all the liability relies on the taxpayer. It goes on the taxpayer, and you are left to fight that issue by yourself. With me as a viable business, I have a taxpayer identification number, tax return identification. It allows me to take some of that responsibility because I signed the tax return and I prepared it, and it will come back on me. I suffer fees and penalties if it's not right. I will find small errors. Hopefully, she might be listening. The experience was they paid a friend to do their taxes, but then the error was they had to leave their child 3 years younger than them. So they ended up owing an amount of taxes, and they've been paying on this tax amount for all this time, and they shouldn't have been. So they're assessing fees and penalties and distress for no reason. But if you had gone to a preparer who files your taxes electronically, that error would have came back to us immediately and would have been corrected. So there would not have been that issue. But when they are signing your returns as if you are signing, because you cannot pay someone to prepare your taxes if they do not have what they call a PT, which is a preparer's tax identification. So you don't get the tax advantages of paying that preparer because there's really no record. It looks as if you prepared them yourself. There are tax benefits on the personal side and on the business side for paying for professional services.
Right. One of the things I like about you, and of course you are one of my mentors and my coaches, because every coach needs a coach. So this is my coach. And I'm going to tell you what she said to me not too long ago, and I'm going to confess this thing, okay? Because she keeps it real. So one day she said she was praying, and God told her, you need to help my daughter, okay? But she got all this talent, and she has no money. She has nothing to show for it. So you told me I can't leave my house unless I'm making money. So I've been at home working on some things, okay? I just want you to know that. But when you saw me, I think it's been a month or so ago, and you said, Dolores, you said, oh, okay. You remember, okay. I wasn't in my feelings. I had to face the facts. And so you looked at you were so passionate, and you were telling me about everything you saw, and you actually started to weep. And I thank God for that. But then I said, Lord, what is this about your daughter? And I thought you was going to give me a big old revelation, and I was going to shout in your office, and you said, Dolores, you are a beautiful disaster. I was. I guess I am. I'm coming out. Come through, Dinah Ross. I'm going to be the boss. Now listen, it took a lot of nerve, first of all, for you to tell me that. And then I have to humble myself to own it and say, well, why did you think I was a disaster? Because I'm sure there are people watching today on the Fly Nubian Queen Network and listening who feel like this is ridiculous. Things have fallen apart in my life. What are some of the things you noticed about me that we have we're repositioning me so I can say, show me the money?
It's you if you're wasting your time,
time wasting
is something that you cannot get back.
Okay.
You cannot get your time back. And if you are doing things that are, causing you to feel like you're in a gerbil wheel, you need to stop doing it. If it's costing you more money than you're putting into it, then you need to stop doing it. I looked at you because you're out, you're in the forefront. However, when people deal better when they see numbers. So if you remember, you and I sat down, we had a session, and I showed you what your potential was and what you needed to do in order to reach that potential.
Yes.
And then that helps you focus to minimize how much time. And I told you need to spend 2 hours doing this in the morning and or the afternoon. And this is how much money you make if you do this. And then you looked at it completely different.
I really did.
Than you just spending time like
talking and
I'm
talking.
just wasting time here. And then we have time limits. This is how much time you spend doing these and doing that. And then you're like, oh, and then I said, well, this is your potential to make this money. So there's no reason why you shouldn't have it.
I thought, and you said about it was $1,000 a month in spending 2 hours in the morning or 2 hours in the evening doing this particular thing.
Right.
And it was news reports for Fly Nubian Queen. No, for Your Black World YouTube channel, Your Black World News. Anyway, the opportunities are coming. But until I got me a coach who said, look, girl, you do 2 hours here in the morning or the afternoon for 7 days, this many stories, you will generate right in your home with your phone at least $1,000.
Right.
I was like, shut the front door. But actually, no, I said, pray it, Jesus, don't close no doors. Just money cometh, money cometh. And that was just one stream of income.
That was one stream of income, and it ended up being like a total of like 8 hours a week.
Yes.
8 hours a week. And that is for 4 weeks.
Yeah. I was like, what? So if I spend a day committed to that particular opportunity as a news reporter for Your Black World News, I can generate up to, if not more, $1,000 in a month doing something that comes natural.
Absolutely.
What was another point? Because we're talking about show me the money. I know that I have a different prayer when it comes to show me the money. I say, Lord, make me an answer. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I heard T.D. Jakes say that because people will pay for solutions.
Yes.
People don't pay you to be a pain in the butt. They do not pay you to be a problem. They want a problem solver. That's why you're you the coach at this moment in my life, but I have other people. But the one thing I like about you, Sinitria, and the reason you're back on Finally Free, is because there are people who will take your money, but they won't take you with them.
Exactly.
Hit on that.
Well, it's like it'll almost feel like you're paying your money and you're not getting that solution.
Right.
You're not getting that answer. I don't ever want to be that. I don't chase a dollar. And my prayer is that I be in position that whoever I'm supposed to be with or whoever I'm supposed to help or help reach that goal or people will find me. So I can assist them through this process and show them we don't have to reinvent the wheel. There is enough money out here for everybody.
Everybody.
I don't have to step on your toes, stab you in the back. That's not necessary. That's not how I wanted to build my business. And that's not how I want others to build their business. I want to show them a different way so they understand. Well, she might be right. I don't have to stab anybody in the back to do this because there's 10 people that you know, there's 100 people that you know that I don't. You see what I'm saying? Right. But those could potentially be your clients or whatever.
Right.
And that's it's amazing.
Let's talk about a couple of things. We're going to do some true or false. I have 3 true or false questions I'm going to present to the listening audience and to my Fly Nubian Queens and King. Hey, David, out of New York. Good to see you, Mr. David Mims. He is such a sweetheart. He sent me an article and I've read it in reference to, bringing in some things. So we're going to do the true or false. I have 3 questions in just a second, but before you get nervous, understand hey, I got the answers right here. It's an open book test, but I want to know what you all think in just a second. By the way, you're listening to Finally Free with me, Dolores Jones, the comeback coach, and we're talking about Show Me the Money. My special guest is Demetria Hampton-Monk. She is the CEO of ASAP Tax Professionals KC, as well as the owner of ASAP Real Estate Services. And she has 8 streams of income. And what's your age range right now?
I'm 41.
She's 41. Come on. I saw an article about a young woman who's 26 years old and she just opened her second Chick-fil-A. Mm-hmm. So I want to put this out there, especially for the Fly Nubian Queen network. Dr. Boyce Watkins has a school called the Black Business School. And all you need to do is to go to www.blackbusinessschool.com, theblackbusinessschool.com, and they will hook you up with free information. And what's interesting to me is, I don't know why, well, it's wasting time. If you can spend 2 hours fussing with somebody on a cell phone, why not take that time and get your butt in a class online? There's no excuse nowadays.
Right.
There's so much information that is free that you may not have to go sit in a classroom. But if you do, honey, pay attention, because there's some stuff going on with that too. Because women and Black college graduates are paid less right out of the gate. And that's a new finding. That's something from the Economic Policy Institute. And so we can talk about that as well. But I shared with you early as we opened the door for this particular conversation that according to the Economic Policy Institute, Black women have to work 7 months into 2018 to be paid the same as white men in 2017. And Black women earn 67 cents on the dollar. Now that's why you need to become a business owner. But where there is no knowledge, where the lack of vision, the people perish. Yesterday on Fly Nubian Queen, I did a special Facebook Live, and I talked about the 8 reasons people give up on their dreams. Mm-hmm. And one of the reasons I talked about that I gave was we underestimate our value. Mm-hmm. We underestimate our achievements. Mm-hmm. And I had an epiphany the other day, just this past weekend, because I missed an opportunity to interview Tisha Campbell Martin. And the reason I did is because I saw Vicki Kelly, who has a phenomenal cause called Hot Stilettos, and she addresses domestic violence. Right. And she has this wonderful thing. Well, I was watching her on television and on the major networks, and she was on some of the other radio stations. And then I said to myself, well, she doesn't want to come on my little show. I totally downplayed Finally Free. And so I ended up going to the after set, and there was Tisha Campbell. And I'm like, Dolores Jones, how did you miss this opportunity? You watch everything. You know what's happening in Kansas City. Mm-hmm. You know what's happening in the news. How did you miss this opportunity? And you know what it was? It's because I downplayed my significance. And so on that day, yesterday, I decided to share with people that I am actually Professor Dolores Jones. And I have been a professor for almost 15 years. I've been in radio, I just realized, for over 20 years. Mm-hmm. And I refuse to do that again, to say, oh, this old thing, oh, it's nothing. Anybody can do it. And that's part of the reason we don't see the money, because for one, we don't know how to ask for the money. Well, first of all, we don't believe that we deserve the money.
Right, exactly.
And we don't know what we bring to the table. Mm-hmm. And like you said, when you went out to get a job at a utility company, and the HR person looked over your resume and said, we're not going to hire her. It wasn't a bad thing. Yeah. And your cousin told you, she said the reason she's not going to hire you is because you're not going to stay there long.
Mm-hmm. She's way over.
Yeah, to know your value. So how do you ask for what you're worth?
You have to set you set the standard, and that's the reason why I opened the tax relief.
Okay.
So I am going to start teaching preparers to be prepared for tax season and to know the different changes and things that are coming up with the new 1040. They're not going to be the same forms. The 1040 could be difficult for you to fill out, but and it's not going to be a regular form that we're used to seeing because you're missing so many exemptions. And I said the issue will no longer become price because once you armor yourself with knowledge, then you say you've taken. I've had people come to me and they said, "Can you give me a discount on this?" And I said, "No."
I was at your office the other day when that happened. Let's talk about that. Downplaying your success, downplaying your credentials, and giving discounts when you don't want to, and giving discounts because people expect you to. And you talked about being an African American female business owner, and how people come up to you and ask for discounts
all the time.
Talk about that.
Now, I offer discounts.
Right.
And I offer referral fees during certain times of the year. But there's a lot of work and a lot of money. I spend money on my education. I spend money to make sure that I am the best prepared that I can be for my client. And I want to inform my clients. I spend money to make sure that I provide them with the best tools so they can be productive at a cheaper cost to them.
Right.
So I can't afford, I have to pay for a building. I also have to feed my family. I've got to keep the lights on, still have to have a phone so you can call me, still have to have internet service so I can transmit your returns. But I also need to pay for my education so I'm up on the next thing that happens. Because you're not going to sit down and read tax code. So you need somebody like me who's going to do that.
You gave a good analogy. You said that some people wouldn't go into a certain major tax company, i.e., example, H&R Block, and say, "Can you give me a discount?" But you said sometimes you feel because you are an African American woman that people expect you to discount your services, or as they say, dumb it down for them. How do you deal with that?
I tell people this is my price. This is my price. This is where my prices are set. And I explain to them the tax benefits of my prices, but I also let them know anybody can tell you I'm gonna work as hard as I can to you. If you go into H&R Block and you hand them W-2s, they're gonna take your W-2s and they're gonna input them into the system because that's what they're prepared to. They're gonna input what you would give them. But I'm gonna have a conversation with you. I have relationships with my clients. I want to know what it is that you do. Is there any hobbies that you do? Because sometimes we can turn those hobbies into businesses. There could be things that you could have been doing along the side where you have been losing money, leaving it on the table. So that's another way to show you the money because you can go from having a refund of $1,200 to your refund being $5,000 or $6,000.
Do you know how I was leaving money on the table? And we talked about this when you told me I was a beautiful disaster. Is I would not submit my invoices. And she said, "Why won't you do this? You have money on the table." And I remember when I wrote my first book called Stop the Dumb Stuff, Destructive, Unsettling, and Miserable Behavior, one of my friends, great guy, mentor, Jack A. Daniels, he is the owner of Press Pause. I had the books ready to go. People were ready to get these books for a women's conference. And I shut down. And Jack said, "Dolores, you have money on the table. You have got to do this." And I realized there were some things I had to work on with inside myself in order to start to produce that thing. So you do have to know what your challenges are personally, psychologically, mentally, and all of that to get back up and start again. Okay, so here is question number 1, true or false. I'm going to present this and everybody can take a guess. Number 1, if Black women worked harder, they'd get the pay they deserve. Is that true or false? Anybody?
That's definitely.
You're correct. The truth is Black women work more hours than white women. Black women work more hours than white women. They have increased work hours by 18.4% since 1979. Yet the wage gap relative to white men has grown. Remember, we make, if we're working with somebody else, about 63 cents on a dollar per minute. 67. Okay, I gave us a couple more pennies. So there is a 40% wage distribution difference, almost entirely by women. Let's see what else. So check this out. In 1 year, well, let's see, for 1 year, let me get this right. The trend is particularly striking for the lowest wage workers. In the bottom fifth, annual hours for Black women grew 30.1%, from 1,162 hours a year to 1,511 hours a year between 1979 and 2015, compared to 27.6% increase from 1,086 hours a year to 1,386 hours a year for white women. And here's the thing, the problem is, for one, the system is systemic. We had a Queens Roundtable on last Friday, and we talked about several things. One of the things was we talked about Black women being our own ceilings, like not wanting to see each other rise, so everybody can have a part. But one of the queens, Michelle, we call her Michi, she made up a point, and she talked about white supremacy and the importance of understanding the root cause of why you're dealing with what you're doing. And then I decided to add another dimension to that and say, look, there is a point where once we understand the root, we have to take responsibility. You can't just sit there and say it's the white man or it's the system. Yes, it is, but how are you going to overcome that? Absolutely.
Because that's when you have to realize we work hard because we've always been told that you have to be better and you're going to have to work harder. And we do it because that's how we've been conditioned through our upbringing. For our parents who always worked. For, a lot of us did not have parents who were entrepreneurs or started other businesses or what have you. But we've been conditioned to say, you have to work harder than the next one. So that's why our hours are continuously increasing.
And you miss family.
And you miss family.
Children.
And I had to stop. When I was working, I would bring work home with me. People were calling my phone all hours of the night, but they knew that I would do it. And I'm saying I would add all of these things to my resume, and I would still apply for jobs. But if people are threatened by your hustle, if people are threatened by your intelligence,
right.
If people are threatened by the possibility that you might take their job, they're going to limit you.
Yeah,
they'll give you just enough to pacify you until you take the reins and say that you are not going to give somebody that control. Yeah. And what I would apply for promotion after promotion after promotion, and people who had, either kissed behind to get where they are and say, well, this is how you have to play the game.
Right.
I don't know how to play chess. I know how to play checkers, but I don't know how to play chess.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I will tell you is this: I can't play that game. I can't do what I need to do and then, checkmate you. I will do what is necessary for Sanichia to be successful. What I found is where they limited me, there was a blessing in my limitation.
Come on and do it. Talk about it.
Because like I said, they limit your income. They limit where they want to promote you to. They limit where they will allow you to go. It's like keeping a leash on you. You can go here, you can do this for me, you can train my people here, but you'll never be good enough to, in my eyes, to run this department or to be able to do this. That's fine. I'll run my own department.
Yeah,
I'll run 8.
It's the truth. It's the truth.
Absolutely.
Today, I don't know if you all had a chance to do this, but I was watching President Barack Obama give his lecture at Nelson Mandela's 16th annual, Nelson Mandela's 16th annual lecture. And it was wonderful. And I heard Mr. Nelson Mandela's wife, who was with him until he passed, she said something and it stuck with me. And she said, conditions are not limitations. I said, that is powerful. And she said, Nelson Mandela, whom they call Madiba, okay, but his name was given to him by a teacher, Nelson. And President Barack Obama are proof that conditions are not limitations. You are proof that conditions are not limitations. I am proof, having been homeless, having my mom taken from me when I was just 5 years old, that limitation conditions are not limitations. They become limitations if you allow them to be, if you listen to the statistics. I don't study statistics per se. It's good to know what's up. But my decision is based on spiritual principles, not statistics. Like you said, you'll be the head and not the tail, and that the blessing is in the storm, which is interesting.
The blessing is in
It's in the storm. So you need to understand that. Okay, question number 2, true or false? Black women can educate themselves out of the pay gap. Is that true or false, everybody?
Absolutely true.
You think it's true?
I think you can educate yourself out the pay.
Okay.
And when you're saying that's why you add to your pay.
Yeah, you do.
So,
however, according to this particular study from the Economic Institute, the truth is 2/3 of Black women in the workforce have some post-secondary education. 29.4% have a bachelor's degree or higher. Black women are paid less than white men at every level of education.
Absolutely.
Here's the thing to know, according to the National Women's Law Center. Research shows more women, especially women of color, are still stuck in low-paying jobs. Women of color account for 17% of the overall workforce, but make up 33% of some of the fastest growing low-wage jobs like retail, fast food, personal care aides, and home health aides. This means that women of color are overrepresented in jobs that pay the federal minimum wage of just $7.25 per hour. At this moment, we're going to take a pause for the calls. We're going to shift here in the Power 98.5 studios, and I will continue here live streaming on the Fly Nubian Queen Network. You're listening to Dolores Jones, Professor Dolores Jones. I am your comeback coach, and you're listening to Finally Free.
Right, you better take your headphones off.
Testing. Okay. Do you want to continue to record it to add on to it?
Yeah, I may record it over there, but the headphones.
Okay, headphones are not necessary.
Right.
Okay. All right. Hey, Fly Nubian Queens and Kings, thank you for staying apart. I don't even need this microphone anymore. I don't need that microphone anymore because I'm going to talk right to you, honey, in this camera. Okay. Hey, do me a favor, subscribe to the Fly Nubian Queen Network, as well as tell somebody about it. Invite them to join. All you have to do is go to flynubianqueen.com and we can all have fun. And we can all find out how to show me the money. And Sinitra Hampton Monk is still Monk. Okay, girl, listen. Blame it on my lips. Okay. President Barack Obama said it's winter in Africa. And so when he lost control of his words, he said his lips were stuck together. Okay, so if it works for him, it works for me. My lips are stuck together. All right. Anyway, back to you, my friend. Sinitra Hampton Monk is here to also take your questions. And it was Madiva Winnie Mandela. Okay, she said that conditions are not limitations. Who said this? I'm trying to think if it was Carl Jug. He's one of the psychologists.